I think non-family members, for example, non-exec directors, have a huge role to play in family businesses. They can bring in expertise that isn't necessarily there within the family, so they can bring a specialist skill set to the table. And what you see as some of the more enlightened family businesses will let senior roles go to people they've brought in who are non-family members but have the dedicated expertise in that area, rather than you can perhaps go back a couple of generations and it might be one brother was responsible for finance, another brother was responsible for marketing, and a sister might be responsible for HR, for example. Whereas you're actually seeing now board level appointments made to non-family members who have the skill set in those areas. I think the other thing that's quite interesting is the role non-exec directors can play in succession as well, because you've got to bear in mind that from a succession perspective, you're potentially letting years and years worth of knowledge walk out of the door as the older generation retire, and you've perhaps got a younger generation through who might have worked in the business but might not have anywhere near the amount of experience of the older generation. And sometimes a good group of non-executive directors who have perhaps worked with the older generation understand the business. They've got the external expertise as well from their previous roles. They can therefore very much act as mentors to the next generation when they take over, and be, very much, a person to be called upon. They can be asked for lots of advice and they can offer some really good insight. And I think that helps smooth that transition from one generation to the next very easily, rather than just being almost on this date I retire and on this date you take over. So I think non-exec directors could have a very important role to play in succession in family businesses.